During my post-graduation, when I was actually looking for a postgraduate seat, I had actually applied for Gynac and I was eligible for it. But fortunately, unfortunately, I got pregnant. Departments start feeling that maybe you will not be able to cope with the kind of workload which comes with a Gynac post. I started my journey at 17, obviously. That is when I joined your MBBS. When we started, initially, obviously, there was a lot of excitement also, but at the same time, there's a lot of anxiety as to how the whole thing will go. Or you don't have to be loud, or you don't have to be this thing to be strong.
She just doesn't help people to breathe better, but I'll tell you where she finds her breath. She puts her marathon shoes, she takes her step out of the clinic, wears her running shoes, and prepares herself for the marathon. Welcome to another episode of The Women We Walk With, a space where real stories are shining more than a spotlight. At Omizu, we believe that every single step a woman takes should be supported, should be comfortable, should make her feel like her own step. And our today's guest will make you feel exactly the same. She is an ENT doctor who has been helping thousands of families around. She makes people heard, she listens to them, she makes them communicate better and heals us completely. She just doesn't help people to breathe better, but I'll tell you where she finds her breath. She puts her marathon shoes, she takes her step out of the clinic, wears her running shoes, and prepares herself for the marathon. So please welcome Dr. Panna Prayaga. Hi, Dr. Panna.
Hi.
So 31 long years in medicine. It's not just a career, but I think it's a lifetime. I would love to listen to your story and how did you really live this journey?
So I started my journey at 17, obviously. That is when I joined your MBBS. So after MBBS, then I did my postgrad in ENT. And after that, when we started, initially, obviously, there was a lot of excitement also, but at the same time, there's a lot of anxiety as to how the whole thing will go, whether I will be able to make it. Plus, you got to prove to people also at that stage, you want to prove to people that, you have it in you, what it takes to be a good doctor. I think so over the years, with all the experience, with all the patients and all, I think I've reached a stage now where I don't think I need to prove anything to anybody. I'm more confident when it comes to this thing, and I enjoy my practice a lot. I mean, I'm interacting with people all the time. I meet people from all different walks of life, get to hear a lot of stories, get to understand a lot of things which happen in other people's lives. I think it has made me more grounded. It has made me more thankful for everything that I have. I'm more confident now overall.
Wow. And ma'am, you're confident and also you're very modest, I think. From the time when you started, doctor, the world was very different. So did you really face any challenge in being a female doctor at that point of time? Or,
See,
or was it smooth?
um, during my post-graduation, when I was actually looking for a postgraduate seat, I had actually applied for Gynac and I was eligible for it. But fortunately, unfortunately, I got pregnant. So then the thing was that people started saying, it would not be, the department start feeling maybe you will not be able to cope with the kind of workload which comes with a Gynac post. So they kind of rejected the thing. So
Oh my God.
it did happen, but I think whatever happens, happens for the best. I'm quite happy doing my ENT now.
No, and you decided to show up. You still, thought that, okay, I have to become a doctor. Whatever was given to you, you accepted it, and now
Yes, and now I'm
you're
happy.
Happy, and I think, doctor, you are successful because I know your patients love you, and I think they keep coming to you, and you're doing such
I think that is what keeps us going, end of the day. the patients coming back to us with so much of confidence in you. So when the patient shows confidence in you, it's the biggest thing that we can get.
Wow, so true. And I think, doctor, we as patients keeps feeling that the kind of sacrifice you doctors, do day in and out, it's incredible. I think no other profession should be celebrated in that manner. So really, really hats off to you.
Thank you.
But doctor, tell me, in your profession also, is those as you said that okay, you were not accepted for the gyno field, but so that kind of discrimination, or maybe they felt that you're not strong enough, really work there. So how do you deal with it, and do you really think softness is what you?
Softness is power. Empathy is power. I think female doctors, I think they can interact better with patients. They are more patient with the patient. Take out the time to listen to what the patient has to say. They put them more at ease. I think that is also power. You don't have to be loud, or you don't have to be this thing to be strong.
Correct.
You can be soft and you can be strong at the same time.
We at Omizu totally believe in that. In fact, softness, the beauty is the power, but sometimes world thinks in a different manner, and that's why we have to go through what.
Yeah, I do get patients coming in, and when they enter the cabin, they probably expect a male doctor or what, I don't know, but
Still.
they still do
Oh
that.
my God. I thought the world has changed.
Especially since it's a surgical branch, I think it's more of a this.
Correct. Okay. I mean, so such an honest thing to share, doctor, because these conversation doesn't really happen in general. And even, after putting the same kind of an effort, sometimes if the patients are still doubtful entering the cabin, but I totally agree with you. We love going to the female doctors because they have so much of empathy and patience to hear, being especially to young parents, young mothers sometimes. And generally, we are in such a vulnerable position that it's not the physical बीमारी. Mentally हम इतने लो होते हैं कई बार कि हमको लगता है यार डॉक्टर्स तो हमारी बात समझ
Yeah,
जाए.
so when the patient leaves the cabin feeling more comfortable and feeling कि, okay, things are not so bad and that I'm going to get better, that is a big thing for us.
True.
When they
True.
move out of the cabin and they're happy about it.
Wow.
So that is that is happiness for us too.
I'm sure. So, doctor, tell me, you have been a doctor full time. You are also a mother. You have been playing different roles in your life. Still, you also choose to run. You are a marathon runner. How did you manage all that in one life?
Actually, I think I was inspired by a friend who started running because of her husband. Husband was running, and the friend started running. And when she started running, she said, no, it's a doable thing. So then I thought, yeah, why not? Why not give it a try? And I think once you try something like that, you're hooked. And then there's no going back. You have to find the time for it. Obviously, I mean, if you're doing even a half marathon, you need to train for it. You cannot do something like, you can't just get up and say, okay, I'm going to run a 21 today. It doesn't happen that way. So you have to find time for yourself. I think every woman needs to find time for herself because that is a very, very important thing. So I changed my schedule. I started getting up a little earlier so that I get the morning time for my runs before I can go to the clinic. I think it's just about discipline, and the running teaches you that.
Okay, so you, doctor, I want to understand this more because, I know a lot of women is struggling with finding that time out for themselves. It could be running, it could be something else which they are passionate about, but somewhere they feel I will not be able to do that. And you being a doctor full time, having so many patients outside your door waiting for you, handling a home responsibility completely, still you could find out time. So one is discipline, I got it. But what else as a change did you bring in your life?
Putting yourself as a priority. You
Wow.
have to prioritize yourself.
That's such a strong line. Putting
Because
yourself as
if you are not happy, you cannot make anybody else happy. Unless you are happy, when you are happy, you can spread the happiness. If you are going to be sad, you're going to bring everybody down with you. So to make yourself happy, whatever it takes, whether it's a hobby, whether it's running, whatever it is, whether it's cooking, if that makes you happy, do it. So if you're happy, your whole family will be happy. If the woman of the house is happy, I strongly believe the woman of the house is happy, the entire household is happy.
Wow, that's such an intense line and so true.
But it is true.
It is true.
It is true.
Wow, this is such a great message to all our audience. Thank you, doctor, for being so honest, because this podcast is also about listening to the real stories of the women and not something which is just for the spotlight. So this now takes me to another question where I want to know what has taught you, or what do you know about them more than, probably we would not know as normal human beings.
So after seeing patients for so many years, you've realized that the body does give you signals. And these are very small signals which we as doctors are trained to pick up. So I think when it comes to ourselves also, we should start taking our sleep or a rest, exercise, everything's very seriously. This applies to everybody, obviously, to all the women and the men, but especially women, because they do tend to not prioritize themselves and not take care of themselves, always putting families or children or whatever ahead of themselves. So moving, making sure that they move enough, making sure that they take enough rest, making sure that they're comfortable in whatever they're doing or whatever they're wearing, all these things should be considered by the women. I mean, they have to kind of start making an effort to take care of themselves and be more true to themselves. I mean, family is going to be there. You are going to be taking care of the family. But a woman has to learn that she also is important. And she has to start moving, because movement is something which will keep you healthy in the long term. See, as you grow older, when your muscles tend to get weak, that is when you tend to, have falls, or you're not able to walk with confidence.
True.
So all these things happens when you have not been taking care of yourself, not been exercising, not been walking. So these are things that you have to do start at an early age, so that as you age gracefully. You are able to walk better. You're able to do the things that you are not able to do now because of all your responsibilities. There are certain things you say, okay, we'll do once the kids are grown up, but to do that, to be able to do that at that age, you have to start now. You have to start taking care of your body now, so that at that age, you are capable enough of doing those things, whatever you have accumulated over the years, saying, okay, we'll do it after the kids are old enough or when we have more time. So for that, exercise and taking care of yourself with exercise and sleep, nutrition, all this has to come from an early age. You cannot wait to start that at 40, 45. It has to start in your early 30s, at least.
I loved your replies, doctor, because I could totally resonate to you. I tell you, doctor, when, being in a workplace, generally at the start of their career, especially women, they used to, some of my colleagues used to make sure कि चलो ठीक है lunch time भी हम table पे बैठ के कर लेते हैं, because I have some submission or something else coming up, which is like a daily process. And there, I used to literally stand on the floor and push them that, okay, nahi, lunch ke baad we will take a small walk around. At least we will talk, we'll come out of it. There has to be some movement post lunch, which gives us lot of break, and in general give that time for ourselves, which was not like a really common thing, especially that I've seen with a women colleague more than men. Of course, the stress sometimes of pressure of releasing something or some submission happens on both the side, but totally resonate to you. It has to be a decision.
It has to be a decision.
And which
taking care of yourself has to be a decision.
So true. Thank you so much, doctor, for this wonderful insight. And now this takes us to the next question. So, doctor, what is that myth that you want to break as a woman as a doctor, or women in sports now for others, which probably people won't believe.
So this concept that, a woman can either be a doctor or can have a family and be a homemaker or can take up a sport, I think is a myth, because I think women are stronger and can do much more than that. And if you can take up a hobby like a sport or running or maybe even any other sport, it'll do a lot of good to the woman, because that is something which can really make you very happy.
True.
I mean, when you go out and the exercise itself is a great energy booster and a great, it gives you a lot of happiness. So I think every woman should try and take up some physical activity so that that makes you healthier and it makes you happier.
Happier, and also I think, doctor, in your case, is that a reason for you to glow so much, or is there a skin routine that you follow? I really want to know this.
I have absolutely no skin routine other than a moisturizer.
I can't believe it.
But yeah, maybe the running helps me a lot.
Wow, so running
It
also
makes you
brings...
happy. I think when it makes you happy, it just reflects.
Wow, this is actually, doctor, a very, very strong message to our women listeners, especially. You know, sometimes we feel the external thing is going to help us look beautiful or glow, but it's the internal thing, the happiness, the decision of following your passion, or maybe just being comfortable in your own self.
Absolutely. And I think for me, running is not only about running. It is about meeting people,
True.
going out with friends. I mean, there are so many trips that we did because of running. We've gone outstation to run. So running was part of it. And then we used to like kind of enjoy the place. We've gone to Pondicherry, we've gone to Satara Marathon, we've gone to Goa. So a lot of things are associated for me with running. It is not just getting up and running. So I've made so many friends along the way. And I think that is another thing that women should do, have a lot of friends. That
Wow.
is another thing which gives you a lot of happiness and keeps you going.
In fact, doctor, such an important point that you just mentioned, that, I want you to, in fact, talk more about the power, the magic of friendship, because many a times it's those 4 or 5 people, are the world to a woman inside, which is good to have,
Good, yeah.
but she's missing out on lot other fun, spending time with different people, having a different perspective. And ma'am would love to listen from
I think a
from you.
woman having other women friends is actually very healing.
Yeah,
You can actually share anything with them, even things that you probably can't share at home, you can share with them
true.
and not be judged. So it is, I think it's very, very healing to have a woman friend in your life. I think every woman should have friends.
Yeah, friendship is such an important
Friendship is
thing.
absolutely important.
Yes. And we at Omizo keep telling that, when you are on move and have a company also with you,
Yes, absolutely.
there is a different energy that you create for yourself and the world around.
Absolutely.
And that's how the happiness
And when
comes
you're
in.
happy, you make the world happy.
So true, so true. It's such a wonderful conversation going on, doctor, and we are slowly coming to the end of our conversation. And my next question to you is: so, doctor, what is your superpower to handle so many roles, move in different cities, enjoy every bit of life?
I think it's my family. I mean, they're completely in sync with what I do. My husband, my son, both are very supportive for whatever I'm doing in my running or in my career. I've never had to really, think twice before doing it, because I know I will be getting all the support that I need from them. My son, I mean, I see that he feels so proud that his mother is running, is trekking, doing all these things. And I mean, that makes me feel that, okay, I am on the right path. I mean, not doing anything wrong with all this. So I guess, yeah, they are my power.
Oh wow, that's so good, and I can so resonate with you, doctor, that if the whole family is supportive to each other in what they want to do.
Yes, if the family supports a woman, I think the woman can do
That's-
just about anything.
Honestly, I never thought of this reply, but now I realize it's the
It
power
is.
around us.
It
It's
is.
the support that is the real power in our
Because
lives as
if
humans.
they are not going to support you when you want to get up at 5 in the morning and get out of the house for a run, it's not going to happen. So the
So
man
true.
has to support, the family has to support you.
So true. In fact, ma'am, I also feel sometimes, there would be places where the support is given or there are people supportive around you, but there could be situation where, women can also ask support. What I see and I listen to people wherein they just are not comfortable seeking support. So sometimes people don't know around that, they
I think that comes with age. That wisdom comes with age, where you can ask what you want. You have to
Right.
ask for what you want. You don't always expect the other person to understand what you want. You have to open your mouth and ask.
So is that the thing? If I talk about this, takes me to the next question. 30 years today, how you are as a different, individual than what you were. I would love to know you because you are so calm, doctor. You're so sorted. And were you always the same, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think over a period of time, things have changed. I've become calmer. I've become quieter. I've become more understanding to other people's problems also.
Mm-hmm.
I think running has also helped me in that, in the sense that it has taught me a lot of patience. It has made me calmer. It's like meditation. Running is actually like meditation. Once you cross that 10-kilometer, 12-kilometer mark, I think you're just running. Your only thought is to put one foot ahead of the other. You're not really thinking about anything else. So it's very meditative to run. So I think that has also helped me to calm down. I think that has actually helped me through my menopausal phase also,
Right.
where normally you hear that you're very irritable, you're very
True.
saying
It,
that
you
phase
just sailed
was,
through.
yeah, I just sailed through that phase because of my running. I think that was because of my running and because of my friends and my family, of course, but running has played a very, very major role in that. It has really helped me sail through it. I don't think otherwise it would have been so easy.
Wow.
In fact, I would go to the extent of saying the emptiness syndrome which happens,
Mm-hmm.
that also has been much easier for me because I had so many things in my this thing. Because running was there is my clinic, and because of all these things which kept me busy, which kept me happy, I think my irritability or even when my son left the house, what you call the emptiness syndrome, for studies, for work, whatever, I didn't go into depression or I didn't, face that kind of anxiety, was because of the running, according to me.
Wow, this is so
Partly, at least,
interesting.
yeah. To a great extent, it's because of the running.
So, doctor, could you just explain what is emptiness syndrome to our listeners, and so
Emptiness
that they
syndrome.
know if they are going through it, they know there's a name to it and how to come out of it?
So basically, emptiness syndrome is like you've been taking care of your child all your life, and then suddenly one day they're gone. They're gone because they've either gone to study up outside, they're in a hostel, or they get married and they leave, or they leave for work. So when child leaves the house, then the nest is empty. So that's an emptiness syndrome. But there are ways to deal with that also.
Yeah.
And for me, running as a big way was a big this thing in dealing with it.
You have done this beautifully and so calmly. I mean, I'm sure it would have been very emotional, vulnerable moment as a
Yes.
parent.
As a parent, yes.
Yes. No matter how strong you are,
Yes, when the child leaves the house,
it is
it
very,
is a
very
moment.
difficult. It's a moment. So, doctor, in the end, would you like to, give a message to our audience, our listeners, what they should do if they're really, really, struggling to or feel stuck somewhere, and now you have told that movement is so damn
Movement is
important, comfort is so damn important, asking for
help.
help is so important. What are those one or two things, they can do from tomorrow if you could just advise them and their life transforms and becomes beautiful like yours?
So moving more is necessary. Another thing I would say is have friends. Speaking to people, opening up to people, sharing your problems with people, you will find solutions.
Wow.
So these are two things that you should definitely do. Others are like, take enough rest, follow a balanced diet, focus on your nutrition. So these are all things that especially women tend to ignore a lot, and they should be doing this. So exercise, nutrition, having friends, and taking adequate rest. These are 4 things which should be non-negotiable. You have to do it.
So, doctor, this was so beautiful. You basically put words to, so many of our feelings today, which we are generally not able to articulate or share with others. And it's such a beautiful message. Now, this brings us to the end of the conversation, which I genuinely don't want to. It is such a wonderful experience to listen to you. Now, doctor, I'll give you a sentence which you need to complete.
Okay.
Okay. A woman who walks with grace.
A woman who walks with grace, walks with confidence, walks with strength.
Wow, that's so important. Strength is
Strength is
the thing which keeps us on our feet whole day. Okay, that's so good.